All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video guys, as you can see on the screen here, we've got some blue Nami action lined up for you today. And yeah, this should be a lot of fun. This is a leader I've not messed with in quite some time. It is a leader with an alternate win condition, and it is it's a very polarizing leader. Let's just call it that, right? Some people absolutely love this kind of play style because you can win through an alternate win condition, and other people completely despise this play style because they'd rather play the game in a more traditional sense. Well, guess what, guys? No matter which side of the, that argument you're on, or that, no matter which side of that conversation you're on, the leader does exist, so we do have to at least explore it and better understand it, so that way we might know how to better play against it, or maybe it looks interesting where we want to try it, right? So in today's video, we are going to be exploring some blue Nami. This is not exactly the greatest format for this leader to be in. I will say that right now, guys. The format we're in currently is pretty fast, Blue Dofi being one of the best decks in the format. And this leader does not fare well against Blue Dofi. I'll be the first one to tell you. Not that it's unwinnable, but it's very hard. Right, it's very hard to deal with Blue Dofi. Any deck that goes wide quickly is going to be hard for this leader to deal with, and of course, the faster the decks are, and there's quite a few like that in the format currently, right? I mean, like I said, Blue Dofi goes wide very quickly. There's also Red Shanks is built pretty fast these days. There's quite a few decks that build a lot of rushing in there, with Dragon and whatnot. And just in general, there's quite a few decks that can deal with this now. There's probably even some yellow decks in the future that will be able to better deal with this leader by just trashing life cards. So whatever the case is, we will at least talk about that, and we'll explore this leader more in today's video. So with that in mind, guys, let me go and lay out the video for you. First things first, we're going to check out the deck list that I'm running. I'm trying out Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger. We'll talk about that more as we get into the video, but we'll check out the deck list I'm running first. From there, we've got 5 games on the sim. We're going to be checking out a game versus Enel, Red-Green Smoker, Blackbeard, Yellow Kid, and then Purple Kaido. So we got some pretty cool games lined up for today to check out, and then we will finish off the video by checking it out again, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on it and what I think about the leader in the current meta. Okay? All right, so with that in mind, guys, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description. I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and things like that down in the comment section below. And if you guys ever have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section, guys, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link is in the channel description. Now, one more thing to talk about is we do have a stream tonight, guys. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays on YouTube from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. We are streaming every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday now. Be sure to come by, check that out, stop by, and say hey if you don't have anything else to do, or if you just want to see what it's about. We have a lot of fun. I'm not sure what we're going to be tackling in today's stream, but we always have fun and talk about One Piece in there. So just wanted to mention that, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, now let's do this, guys. Let's hop into today's video. So first things first, let's go ahead and check out the deck list we have here. Where's the leader at? There we go. So let's talk about the leader first, and then we'll talk about the deck list. And I'm not saying that this is the best list, by the way, guys. Understand that we're going to talk about a lot of different cards that other people are running. I'm just showing you the list that I ran today. So this is the leader on the left here, guys. This is Nami. And notice what it says on the very top line there, well, in the text portion. As an additional rule, when your deck reaches 0 cards, you win the match instead of losing it when you reach 0 cards in the deck. So generally speaking, as a rule in this game, if your deck ever reaches 0 cards, you lose immediately on the spot. The game is over. You've lost. Well, in this deck, you win on the spot immediately, and you don't lose. So it just kind of reverses a game rule, right? And so because of that, the entire point in this deck is to just draw your entire deck away, and then you automatically win. And that's what gets a lot of people frustrated with it, is it doesn't feel right, quote unquote. People don't like losing in that way. But hey, that's how the deck works, right? So there's one other effect we have to read about here. Dawn ×1, when your opponent takes damage to their life through the attack of this leader, you may trash 1 card from the top of your deck. So attaching 1, swing for 6, and your opponent will let you trash the top card of your deck. Now, that part is not as relevant, but it does come into play sometimes. There could be a difference between 1 card winning or losing. especially in a deck like this. In any deck, that is true, but in this deck in particular, that definitely is the case. So there's the leader. So let's talk about some cards that are just absolutely staple. And then actually, let's talk about this one first. Never mind. This is the new card that came out. It came out in OP09, which is what we are in right now in the West, right, guys? We're at the time of recording this video, we are in OP09. This character came out. It is the #1 increase, you know, to the deck, or however you'd say that. It's the #1 piece of support that it got. There are other pieces that it got. We'll talk about those as well. But I think this is the most important piece, because now we have an actual 1-drop, because it's not always great to play out Kaya on turn 1 when you don't have a lot of good options to trash from your hand. Okay, understand that. But this card is always good to trash. It's not a 2K counter like the Kaya is, but this card you can always just throw down right on turn 1. We don't care if they remove it. If they don't remove it, we're going to punish them nonstop, because look what it does, guys. It's a 1-cost, 1,000 power, 1K counter. Excuse me, East Blue searchable. It has, when attacking, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then reveal up to 1 blue event card. It does not have to be East Blue, and it doesn't have a cost to it. It doesn't matter what the cost is. It just has to be a blue event card. Add it to your hand, then put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. This does multiple things. Okay, guys, this does multiple things. #1, it allows you to search for an event card, obviously. The second thing it does is it does allow you to set the bottom of your deck. And that is the difference between the good Nami players and the best Nami players, or the great Nami players. A good Nami player, you know, will understand how to play the deck and win by just milling out, right? But the best Nami players out there, I know some people might be rolling their eyes at that, but hear me out. Guys, the absolute best players who play Nami, they will set their cards as they go with effects like this Nami, even using the trigger on White Snake, using the Desert Spada. Again, you know, making sure you put, you know, you'll set the cards how you want to, but you could also put them on the bottom and set them the way you want to. So there's a lot to that. Okay, there's a lot to it. So with that in mind, this is the #1 main piece of support that Nami got in OP09, and it's actually very, very good. Look at all the events we have, guys. There are only 16 cards in this deck that are not events. So in other words, this card can search up 34 different options in the deck. The chances of this card whiffing are possible, but very, very, very low, right? Very, very low. In fact, if you whiff, you probably just need to, you know, shuffle a little bit better, right? I'm just kidding. Anything can happen, but you guys know what I mean. All right, with that in mind, this is the main card. Now, we have seen Apis before. We have, or Apis, however you say this. We have seen Kaya. These are pretty standard. Boodle here is starting to see more and more play in the deck because it's just a blocker. It's a 2-cost blocker that allows you to, you know, on KO, trash a card from the top of your deck. Okay, so we went over all the characters. Desert Spada is still one of those cards. I really don't like this card very much, to be honest, and I find myself trashing it very often. But guys, that trigger alone makes it worth running. To put things in perspective, #1, this is a 1-cost 2K counter, which is very solid, and it does allow us to do a top 3, you know, arrangement, right? So it has that going for it, and then the trigger, draw 2, trash 1, you basically have to run this card, right? It's one of those, it's a great defensive event that allows us to fix things, and it has an incredible trigger. We are running Impel Down All-Stars in here still. This card is only run for the trigger. It's not run for any other reason other than the trigger to draw 2 cards, and on top of that, it can also be used with Kaya to trash cards, right? Deathwink, I'm down to 2 of these, and this card is probably first on the chopping block. It just costs a little too much at 3 Dawn, but it can win you games. I'm not saying it's a bad card. This card can absolutely win you games, and some people might think I'm crazy for not running this deck for more than that, because look at the trigger on this card's effect, bouncing a 7-cost back to the owner's hand, a 7-cost or less. Rubber Band of Doom is an MVP in the deck in the same way that Kaya is. This is like part of the whole OP03 original, you know, East Blue Nami package. Same thing with Gum Gum Giant Gavel. This is an absolute all-star. These 3 right here are the all-stars. Actually, I'll say these 4 because Sanji's Pilaf, another East Blue, all part of the OP03 East Blue Nami self-mill package. These 4 cards right here are the absolute MVPs in the deck, and now we also have this Nami that I would add to the list as well. So in this version, I am running the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. I wanted to try that. It comes into play quite a few times, guys. You'd be surprised. #1 is a searchable card with Nami, if we do need it. And #2, it has a very strong trigger. The trigger bottom decking a 5 or less is more relevant than you might, you know, imagine at first. Because you have to understand, Guys, bottom decking a 5 or less is going to become very relevant in the very near future here in going into OP10. So a lot of the games we're going to be looking at today are from OP10, if not all of them. All of them might be from OP10, guys, because that's just where I do my play testing, is on the East server now. And this Gravity Blade Raging Tiger's trigger bottom decks a 5 or less, but the main bottom decks 2 6 or less. The 6 or less is a nice perk, but it's really about hitting 5 or less characters right now, because that's what we're seeing quite a bit of pop up, you know, in the meta. Very strong, very impactful 5-cost characters. And of course, it's anything under that as well, right? So anything that Dofi would have. Next up is White Snake, and this card is actually very, very strong, but I do feel like it is starting to lose a little bit of its value now. It's not quite as strong as it used to be. Not saying we can replace it yet, but it is becoming less and less strong, however you want to say that. At least in my testing, that's the way it seemed. And then, of course, Love Beam. Love Beam is this one's probably a staple. It's just a nice 2-cost 4K counter. The only downside to this entire card is the fact that it does not have a trigger. This card does not have a trigger, but that's okay. It allows us to draw a card when we have 3 or less cards in hand. So in other words, if this is your 4th card in your hand, you activate this, then it says, okay, you can draw a card if you have 3 or less cards. And if this was our 4th card, we activate it, we only have 3 cards left in our hand. Okay, very good. Now, with that in mind, that's the list. Now, let's talk about a few other cards that people are running. Let me just type in events. Actually, might as well stick there for a while. Some people used to use Arabeck Brick Fist. I don't think anyone's using this anymore. Some people might be running it as like a 1 or 2 of in the deck. I'm not sure. But there is a card that a lot of people are still running, and there is good reason to do it. I'm not going to lie. And it is, let me see if I can find it. Why don't I see it? Snake Dance. Snake Dance is being used quite a bit. So give up to one of your leader or characters plus 4,000 power, and then return one of your characters then return up to one of your characters to the owner's hand. It's worded in that way in case for some reason they introduce like control effects in the future where you can take control of your opponent's character. The reason it says return up to one of your characters to its owner's hand is just in case that happens, right? You'll still have to return to the owner's hand. The owner in card terms is always the person who actually owns the card, right? So with that in mind, this card is still being used. It's very strong, and I will be using this in I think the last 2 games in today's video. Okay, you'll see me move over to it. I was seeing if I could get away with not running it for whatever reason, and I think we need to run this card. Slave Arrow, I think, is pretty good. You may return one of your cost 2 or higher characters to the owner's hand, give up to one of your leaders or characters plus 2,000 power during this battle. I actually think this card is worth running, even though it cannot return back Archaea, right? It cannot return any of these characters back, but you're going to see towards the end of the video, I think in the very last game, I actually start messing around with Nojiko, and I don't get a great amount of value out of this character in this video, but I have to say, I think being able to use that with, being able to use Slave Arrow with Nojiko, I think might have some potential in the future. So again, let's go back to it real quick. This is the card we're talking about. This is a 1-cost 4K. And this is actually one of the few 1-cost 4... This might be the only one that this deck can even run that basically is a 1-cost 4K that doesn't cost you 2 cards from hand. Because I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try to really ingrain this in people's minds, guys. When you're swinging against Nami, you want to swing 2 over whatever the leader is, because they have to do one of 2 things in the process. They either have to give you Nami in defending. If my leader's at 5,000 and you swing for 7, 2 over, so swing for 7, I have to give you one of 2 things. I either have to give you A, 2 cards, so in other words, a 1-cost 2K and then something else, or B, I have to give you 2 Dawn. That has always been how it's been, and that's how a lot of people play around Nami. However, look at Slave Arrow. This actually goes, okay, I'm going to pay 1, bounce back a 2 or higher character to my hand, and I'm going to go plus 4,000. So it is the total opposite of everything I said. This is a pay 1. They only have to pay 1 Dawn for 4,000, and they don't have to trash another card from their hand like Gum Gum Giant Gavel does. They actually get a card back from their field to their hand. So that is something I do kind of want to mess with here soon, and we'll have to see how we can incorporate this in the future. It is hard for me to keep working on a single deck over time. I have to really dedicate to a deck, and I can only do that to so many, trying to go across all the different decks that get requested of me to mess around with. But I do think there could be a future where we run something like the Slave Arrow here, running Nojiko, and maybe even the 3-cost. The 3-cost, what's her name? Margaret, I think her name is. Let me bring her up real quick, because that's another card that I'm not running currently, and some people are still running this card. It's not a bad card at all. This is a great card. But I was trying to play around it and I was trying something else, to be honest. I was just trying to a little bit more of an original list that I came up with. But this card is something I've used in the past, and it is a very, very strong card. So yeah, this is a very good one right here. And you know, that might be, I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Some people used to run Overheat. I think this card has been completely replaced now by Snake Dance. The idea was, okay, I'm going to pay 2. I'm going to go plus 4,000 for the turn or for the battle on one of my characters, and then I'm going to bounce back one of my active characters with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand, so I can bounce back the Kaya, maybe the Apis if I had to use the on play effect or whatever. But in this deck, we're not running too many good targets because remember, guys, this character will probably not ever be active. We have to attack to get off this effect, so we can't really bounce it back with Overheat. However, Snake Dance, we can. Snake Dance allows us to actually pull it back. It just says return up to one of your characters to the owner's hand. So that is something we have to consider going forward. But really good stuff here. This list felt pretty good. I'm going to be honest, guys. You're going to see we're about to go into the games. The list did feel very good. It felt very strong, but it could use some fine-tuning here and there, and we'll talk about that as we get into these games. Okay? All right, let's do this, guys. Let's hop into the games now because we do have 5 games to go over. Now, let me go ahead and move my camera over. Oh, gosh, here we go. Okay, let me just move this down to there. That's fine. All right, guys, volume is off. Speed is on 2x. First game up here, we have a game against Enel. Now, Enel is a little bit of a slower list compared to some of the other stuff in the format. So this is actually going to be a very tough game for Enel. This is I would say this is a pretty favored game for Nami. However, Enel does have some rushers later in the game if they can lose some life. If they can find a way to lose life. So there's my Nami. I did go first here, guys. I swing in with Nami. I'm going to block with my Boodle, and then I'm going to get to swing again. I'm just like fixing my hand right now. I'm drawing cards like crazy. Playing out another Boodle, guys, but they do have the Nami this time to answer. They can pop the Nami, and then they can swing in for 6. We're going to cash in on the Boodle just immediately, guys. I don't want him to like do any kind of other, you know, KO removal effects because they do run the 9-cost Yamato and everything. You guys know how it is. So we're going to play out another Nami, and then a Kaya, or a Nami, Kaya, Nami. And they do bounce the Nami to the top of my life. That is not going to help them, guys, because that gives me 1 extra attack I can just totally ignore. And that is a good thing for Nami. We want to be careful with our life. Right here, we're just going to pass the turn with all of our Dawn active, see if they want to swing in. This is what I was talking about. They can pop any card they want to. They'll swing in there. And notice in this deck, guys, I'm not running the, remember, I'm not running in this version, the, the Snake Dances. You won't see that till the last 2 games. Okay, we play out the Kaya, we fixed our hand a little bit, and guys, our deck is already down to 23, and we're at 6 life. It doesn't matter how big their board is at this point, to be honest. The fact that we have this much life is actually very dangerous for my opponent, and I'm poking in for 6 so that I can trash cards from the top of my deck. They're going to swing in for 5. We'll use a White Snake here to draw a card and go up 1k. They're going to swing for 8. And we're going to go ahead and do a Gum Gum Giant Gavel to get out of that. They're going to swing for 9. We'll go ahead and take that. We get a Sanji's Pilaf. That is disgusting, guys. That is absolutely brutal. They're going to slam down Ace. They cannot attack with it because they have more than 2 life. We're going to swing 5 into 5. They can just counter out. It doesn't matter. We're going to Sanji's Pilaf. We're going to play out a Boodle. We're on 4 life. They only have 6 attacks. We just have to get out of 2 attacks, and we pretty much automatically win the game here. They're going to swing for 9. All right, there we go. We're out of the first attack. They're going to swing in for 9 more. We are going to go ahead and play out a Gum Gum Giant Gavel, it looks like. Desert Spada first, setting our top cards here. Okay, so we're going to put the Kaya 2 down. Then we can get out of this with the, Gum Gum Giant Gavel. And now we're down to 11 cards in our deck, guys. We got out of 2 attacks. We could just take all the rest of these, to be honest. We'll take this one. It's going to be a White Snake. We already know it's on top, so we're just going to not bother with that. Right here, we might just use the White Snake to draw. Yep, we did that just to draw a card. We take the hit regardless. They're going to swing in for 10. We're going to take that. It's a draw 1, trash 1 from the Rubber Band of Doom. We'll take the last hit there. Guys, we're on 7. We have 7 cards left in our deck. Now we're down to 5. Now we're down to 3. And past turn, there's absolutely no way my opponent can win right here. And remember, guys, as soon as I hit 0 life, the game is over. Or 0 dawn, the game is I can't talk. Once I hit 0 cards in my deck, the game is over. So they swung in there, guys. I was just going to counter out every single card in my hand that I could until I was out of cards. And we got there. We were able to get completely out of cards in our deck, so we won on the spot. Okay, so good game against Enel, but that's a very rough matchup. Enel, I would say Enel almost has no chance. There's a few decks where it's like they have a very, very low chance of beating Nami just because of how Nami works. They are hard counters to the slower decks. Okay, or Nami is a hard counter to slower decks. So that was against Enel. Next game we got against Red-Green Smoker. Now, this is a much more challenging matchup, if your opponent knows what they're doing, right? So here we go. They're gonna start off on the play. We're gonna start off on the draw. We're gonna play out a Nami here. We're gonna double Nami to start. You love to see it every time, guys. They're gonna swing for 8. We're gonna gladly take this into a third Nami. That's silly. So now we get to draw a card from this one. Now we get to draw a card from this one, and we're just fixing everything in our hand. And then we can play out another Nami if we want to here. Yeah, play out the other Nami, play out a Kaya. We're going to trash a card from the hand with that effect. Trash 2 cards. Those don't matter. We're swinging in for 7, and this is going to make me mill a card as well. We have gone through so many cards so quickly for almost no investment. So now he pretty much has to swing at my Namis. If he wants to swing at my face, I'm not upset about that either. Okay, draw 2, trash 1 trigger. We'll go ahead and trash. Probably one of these gravity blades would be the best call here. Yeah, I trashed a white snake. That was not the right call, but that's okay. We're going to swing in. We're just drawing cards like crazy. They have to deal with this card, guys. They have to deal with these Namis, and we're going to draw 3 extra cards every turn. You know what I mean? It's one of those situations where my opponent did get a little bit too greedy there, using that the way he did. So here we go. I'm just going to pass the turn back because I don't want to get hit with Banish. Getting hit with Banish does not feel good. Okay, so they use out, excuse me, they play out a Bin Beckman. They're going to get rid of one of my Namis with the on-play effect. They're very fortunate I'm not running Snake Dance in this version, guys, because otherwise you would want to get rid of my Kaya for sure. They're going to finally get rid of... Okay, they forgot to swing in with their leader right there. It happens, I guess. I don't know what the idea was there. Maybe they thought I was going to Snake Dance, which is very possible. We're going to go ahead and attack. What just happened? Oh, Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. We got rid of the Smoker. We just got rid of the Banish. We don't have to deal with that now. And we're at 3 life. It was a safe time to do it. They're going to swing into that, swing into that. You can have that. Okay, that just ate up an entire attack there. Having the Nami on the board, and our hand is absolutely crazy right now, guys. We're going to draw draw a card, trash 1 from the top of our deck there, take that hit, and we're down to 1 life, go 5 into 3. If he wants to save this, he can. I'm not really worried about that Virgo, but hey, if he wants to use cards from his hand, absolutely be my guest. We're going to draw 2, trash 2 with the Kaya, trashing 2 cards we didn't need as much, and let's see how many cards are in my deck. Hopefully I mouse over it soon here. I have all of my Sanji's Pilafs. I have all of my Gum Gum Giant Gavels. I'm actually probably going to have to trash Sanji's Pilaf here just to survive, because I just have too many. Okay, we're at 19 cards left in deck. They do not attack that turn, which was probably pretty smart, guys, to be honest. So I'm going to play out a Sanji's Pilaf there, and we're going to pass the turn back. We've got a lot of cards. So right here, I think I actually should take this hit, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to counter out. That's fine, but I think I should have taken the hit, and we'll take a counter out. And I want them to fully invest, right? I want them to fully invest because I can get out of all of these attacks no problem, at least if I did the math correctly. So we'll draw a card there. We're going to use Gum Gum Giant Gavel, trashing cards like crazy, drawing cards. They only have, guys, they only have 3 more attacks realistically. They're going to swing in for 10 here. Okay, I could take this because they can only swing in for 6 and 9. So, okay, we're going to get out of it anyway. Sure, we'll use the whatever we just used there to go up to 10. We'll probably do a 2K counter. I use the Gum Gum. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, I remember this game, guys. I did not mean to do what just happened right there. That was a total accident. I didn't mean to activate the Love Beam. That was just a mistake. They swing it for 5. Not sure what's going on there, but hey, it did at least make up for the mistake I didn't mean to do. But right here, it's going to be Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Let me say something real quick, guys. Make sure you fully read the way cards work with Nami. It goes in the exact order it says they do. Again, my opponent did make a mistake to make up for the mistake that I just made, but that was that wasn't a blunder. That was like a misclick in the program, and there's no undo button. That was just a strict mess up. Whoopsie daisy, right? Okay, so we go ahead and hit him with a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger to bottom deck their card. We were fine, though, guys. We still had 3 2K counters in hand if we needed them. And here we go, guys. Let's see what happens in this situation here. Sanji's Pilaf. I'm at 9 cards. I'm trying to do the math real quick, so let's see what happens here. Sanji's Pilaf, it gets me to a Kaya. Okay, so that's going to make the math a lot easier. We're down to 5 cards. This game is over. Calculated lethal right here. I have it in my hand. Well, and then we got the Kaya. Your turn. I just have to play Rubber Band of Doom, and I think it's over. We have Gum Gum Giant Gavel and Rubber Band of Doom. Okay, trashing that card, and GG. That was a fun one there. even with the slight mess up, the mistake, the hiccup that happened there was no chance for us to lose, even with the mistake, because we had so many 2K counters in hand. But it shouldn't have happened again. That was just me not doing things in the proper ordering per the sim. Okay? All right, good game to them. That was a tough one. One thing I'm noticing, let me say this real quick, guys, before we move on to the next game against Blackbeard. People keep trying to swing for these massive numbers. That's not the answer. The answer is to go 2K above for the most part. 9K is perfect. Like swinging for 7K or 9K into 5K. Now, if I use a white snake, then you have to add 1 to that. It has to be 8K or 10K. But if you're swinging like 7s or 9s into 5, or 8s or 10s into 6s, that's probably your best bet to win the game. Because understand what that does, guys. Every time that happens, I either have to give you 2 cards from my hand, or I have to give you 2 Dawn. So that is the most efficient way to get the most out of every turn, swinging as wide as possible. Now, understand what I'm saying there. 2 cards from hand, what does that mean? If you swing for 7, what does that mean? I have to give you 2 cards from hand. Well, if you swing for 7, I have to give you a Gum Giant Gavel, which is Giant Gavel plus trashing a card, or I have to give you a double 2K counter, like a 2K counter like Apis or Kaya, and a 1-cost 2K counter like that, right? So that's why I say to do that. Swing 7 over, guys. Or 2K over. That's the way to do it in my personal opinion. Preferably 4 over, like for a 9K hit. But hey, you don't always have access to characters that big. Whoops, I unpaused it. All right, next game we got against Blackbeard. Here we go, guys. This is against Blackbeard. This is a very tough matchup. Let me tell you right now, because a good Blackbeard player, which I think my opponent is a pretty competent Blackbeard player, they know to just fill the board really, really, go very tall on the board, and then wait to swing. When you're down to like 1 life or 0 life, don't swing until you can play out another 10-cost Blackbeard and just turn off the leader effect. Okay, we're going to swing 1 into 1. We're going to grab a Gum Giant Gavel. That card is very, very important in this matchup. We're going to play out a Kaya to draw 2 trash 2 early on. Guys, you play out your Kayas early on, because Blackbeard will shut off your Kayas later in the game. Okay, unfortunate there. We trashed a Sanji's Pilaf with our Boodle block there. But hey, the good news is we did keep the Nami, and now we're going to get to search deeper into the deck and draw extra cards. Okay, and again, guys, remember, even right now, I still don't have the Snake Dances added to the list. I add those, I believe, in the next game. So we're going to swing 1 into 1 right here, getting rid of that character, drawing cards, playing out Boodle. It's good to get that stuff out of the way early on, guys. While just fix your hand and get through your deck as fast as you can early on with the stuff you can play out. Because later in the game, when they get all the big bodies down, that's where you want to keep all your Dawn active. By the way, speaking of that, guys, okay, they're going to use Black Hole here. They're going to play out the Kuzan, cheating out the Burgess, getting to draw an extra card. Very well played by my opponent. Very, very strong play there. But remember, guys, what was I going to say? I was going to say something about later in the game. I can't remember. If I remember later, hopefully I remember later, guys, if it's important enough. So we're playing out the Nami here. We're doing our searching. We're setting up. The Boodle's massive here because it allows us to just block and trash cards. Looks like we had a trash... No, we played out a Sanji's Pilaf, then played out a Nami and a Boodle. We have 1 Dawn left. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Let me pause and get this thought out of the way real quick. So they just did a... we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. Later in the game, guys, remember, I can only counter out of your big attacks for as much Dawn as I have as a Nami player. So as my Dawn goes down lower and lower, it becomes very hard for me to counter out of these big attacks. And that's why characters like Hody Jones are absolutely insane against Nami, because they tap down Dawn. Okay, Hody Jones is a character, the 7-cost 8K that has Rush and can tap down characters. It can also tap down Dawn. That card is insanely powerful against Nami. So they're going to go ahead and remove one of my characters here. I think it was the new Nami we just played. They are going to swing into the Nami. We're going to use Boodle right now to trash a card. They're going to swing more into it. Another Sanji's Pilaf into my trash. That is wild, guys. That is absolutely wild. I've lost 3 Sanji's Pilaf, I believe, to trashing them, or maybe 2. That's crazy. Okay, so we Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Okay, hang on, guys. So now I almost completely missed it there, ranting and raving about losing my Sanji's Pilaf. They have double Burgess on the board. I'm still at 5 life. I'm going to Gravity Blade Raging Tiger right now on my, let's see, on turn 5 for me to get those off the board, and now I can slow my opponent down big time, right? My opponent just got slowed down big time. They just lost 2 very powerful targets there to attack in with. So they're going to play out Kuzan here, play out Ashiryu. They're trying to get bodies on the board, guys. They know they need to go wide. I'm going to go ahead and counter out of this with whatever that was. I think that was a gavel. And yeah, and here we go, guys. We're in a pretty decent spot. I think I should swing for 7 here. Trash another card on top of my deck. Okay, it was a white snake. Not the worst thing to trash, to be fair, guys. That's not the worst card in the world to get trashed. But yeah, that was very good for us. Even though they got to draw a card, we don't really care about that. It's good that we got to trash a card for free. They're going to play out a Teach. They're going to shut down our effect here. But that doesn't matter. We're not close to losing yet. In fact, now we're at the point where we want to start taking hits. Right now, it's like, okay, now I do want to start taking hits. Okay, so right here, we're going to pass the turn. Your turn. Let's see what my opponent chooses to do here. Guys, we're kind of at a stalemate, right? It's like, okay, hey, we're just going to keep drawing cards as best as we can. He's been turning off my on-play effects every turn, doing a very good job about that, staying very, you know, what's the word? Okay, he's going to swing in for 9 here. We should take this for sure. Okay, we're going to take it. We get a draw 2, trash 1 trigger, trashing the Impel Down All-Stars. Perfect application of that card. Swing in for 12. We'll take that. Okay, we're not going to bounce back the Burgess. I guess we could have. I think we could have bounced back Burgess. I could be wrong. I'll have to look at him in a minute. But okay, we do have a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. We're just going to get rid of the two attackers, 2 relevant bodies there on the field. They're going to play out another Burgess and probably just pass back because there's no chance of them winning this turn. And I still have ways to trash quite a few cards in my hand. We're down to 15 cards, guys. We're down to 15 cards in the deck. They're going to swing for 10. We're going to go ahead and do a white snake here, and then I'm going to go ahead and trash, and then get up to there. So, hang on. So, I used a white snake, and then I used a Gum Giant Gavel and gave him a 2K counter. He's going to swing it for 12. We have to take this when we get a Kaya. He better shut off my own play effects next turn. I can tell you that much. Let's see if he does it. He does. Very well played by my opponent there. And we're actually in a pretty rough spot, guys. We're in a pretty rough spot. We're going to swing for 7. This should go through. We trash a card from the top of our deck, and I'm down to 11 cards in my hand. So right here, my opponent is up against the ropes. My opponent is up against the ropes right here, but I think they should keep on the gas, and they choose not to. They're going to go for 1 more attempt at game because I'm down to 10 cards left in my deck now. They turned off my on-play effects. I can't use my Kayas to go down in deck. And here we go, guys. This is their chance to win the game. They're going to swing for 5. We are, of course, going to get out of this one. Okay, going to use the Rubber Band of Doom. So we're down to 9 cards. Remember, guys, we can't go to 0 or we lose the game. Guys, we cannot go down to 0 life or we lose the game. Excuse me, down to 0 cards in our deck or we'll lose the game because they nullified our effect with Marshall D. Teach. So they're swinging in for 11 here. We are going to need to get out of this. We're going to go ahead and go to +4 from the Gavel. Then we're going to Rubber Band of Doom to go +1. Go up 1 more. I have to get out of 2 more attacks, guys. This is not over yet. This is not over yet. I think I need to take this hit to see what I get. Okay. They're going to swing in for 12. We're going to Gum Giant Gavel, or excuse me, we're going to Rubber Band of Doom here. Then we're going to probably 2K, 2K, 2K. And now I have to get out of 1 more attack, guys. Watch this coming in for 12. We use a Love Beam to go up to 9. And here comes another Love Beam, guys, to get to 13. And that is game. Good game to my opponent there. That was a absolutely wild turn of events. We're going to go down to 2 cards in hand, or 2 cards in our deck. And here we go. They are going to swing in for everything. It doesn't matter because they know it's pretty much over now because they can't turn off my leader effect with another Teach. They're all on the board. They're going to swing in for 15. And watch this, guys. We're going to 2K counter out with Apis first, so we have less cards in hand. Then we will use a Rubber Band of Doom, and then we will use a Death Wink. So 2K, Rubber Band of Doom, and then Death Wink, GG. We would have drawn 2 cards for that, I believe. And that was an incredibly close game there. That's what Nami does, though, guys. It does work in that way. It's not just easy to beat unless you're running a very aggressive list. Okay, next list here, we're actually going to be running the Snake Dance finally, right? Okay, here we go. Speed 2x. We can already see it in our opening hand. 2x speed, volume's off, and here we go. One thing I will say about Eustace Kid, guys, is if it's running the 8-cost Eustace Kid, it's actually pretty decent into Nami. Especially if it's running a life burn version with the 6-cost Nika Robin and the 8-cost Eustace Kid. you're just burning all my life away. I don't get any extra triggers to draw cards, which are a big deal. I'm not getting to ignore certain attacks to just save up for later. It's very strong. We swing it with Nami there. We're going to draw 2 with Sanji's Pilaf. They swing 2 into that card. We let it go. I probably could have 2K countered out of that, but I can 2K counter out of this. It ends up being the same idea. Okay, so right here, we're going to swing 5 into 2. Why not? Okay, you know, we'll get whatever character off the board we can. And we don't have anything else we can do here, guys. We don't have anything else we can do. So we're going to pass it back. They're going to come in for 6 here, developing a Trafalgar Law. We're on 5 Dawn this turn. We're going to go ahead and use that effect there for the Rubber Band of Doom to trash a card from the top of our deck. We'll go ahead and use a White Snake, and we're still going to take the hit. That was calculated, guys. I did that just to draw a card for no other reason. Okay, right here, we're going to play out the Namis, and now it's my opponent's turn. We have 5 Dawn open. They're going to play out a Eustace Kid. That's the card I was talking about. I just lost that. That was a draw 2, trash 1 trigger, guys. Very effective against me. Okay, coming in for 5 here is probably not the best idea because I can get out of these so very easily. We're going to use a Love Beam here just to stay high on life, and then we'll use another one here, but we can actually draw a card on the second one. Very nice. And they're going to stand one of their characters as active, the Basil Hawkins. We're going to swing for 5. We're going to draw a card. They're going to let it go. We're going to swing for 1. Excuse me, not for 5. We're going to swing for 1. We get a Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger, incredible right there. I was able to bottom deck 2 attackers. Now they have to swing 5 into these characters. I am going to Snake Dance here and pull the card back to my hand. And now let's see what they do. So remember, guys, if you pull a card back to your hand, the battle ends. It does not go to the damage step, right? The card goes right back to hand. They're going to swing in for 9 here. We're going to take this. Let me see something. I can probably read the trigger if I pause fast enough. Take it. So return up to 1 character with the cost of 4 less to the owner's hand. So yeah, I could have used this card last game to push back that what was the card called? The 4-cost Burgess in the previous game we just went over against Blackbeard. That would have probably been the better call looking back. Okay, so now they have 10 Dawn left. What are they going to do with that? Maybe slam down a 10-cost Ace. 10-cost Ace, 9, another 8-cost Eustace Kid would be insane right here. Okay, they have a 7-cost Trafalgar Law, seems good. And yeah, that's going to be the turn. It looks like they'll probably pass it back after that unless they have a 3-cost. Okay, all right, now it's our turn. They did cycle a card out of hand. We're going to swing in. We get a Sanji's Pilaf. Seems really good, guys. Sanji's Pilaf is so good in this deck. We're going to draw 2 cards here. We have a Boodle. Play out the Boodle. We're at 24 cards left. This game's actually very close, guys. This game is by no means a blowout. This is actually a very close game so far. We're still at half the cards in our deck, and we're already down to 2 life. They're going to swing in there. We're going to trash a card there. They swing in for 9. We let it go, and now they only get 1 more attack at us, and let's see what they choose to do with it. I don't remember what I do here, guys, but I think getting out of this is probably a pretty good idea. I think getting out of this attack is actually a very good idea, but let's see if I choose to do that or not. It depends on what he swings for. I'm going to be honest, guys. If I'm playing the Eustace Kid right here, I'm dropping 2 4-cost 5Ks on the board or something like that. You need to go as wide as possible, guys, or you're in trouble. But let's see what he does here. Again, guys, we're on 2x speed. This guy is just thinking... you know, deep thoughts on what to do next. They're trying to win this game. They play out the Trafalgar Law. I do like that. They're going to swing in for 12. Okay, well now, okay, I guess I am going to counter out of this. We trash 2 with the Gum Gum Giant Gavel. We'll go up, what are we going to do here? Now, in this version, it looks like I'm also running Spandam, guys, or not Spandam, Mr. 1, Dawes Bones. Okay, here we go. We do get out of it. We're down to 19 cards in our deck. Remember, guys, it's the events for Nami that makes them draw so much. They cycle a card out at the end of turn with their Eustace Kid effect. We're going to play out the Dawes Bones to get a Gum Gum Giant Gavel back. And we're actually, at this point, we're not at jeopardy of losing, but neither are they. So I think going next turn here would be the best call. Because if they attack in, look what I'm going to be able to do, guys. I'm going to be able to Gum Gum Giant Gavel. Actually, no, I can actually go, okay, here we go. So right here, we are down to 18 cards in our deck. We might choose... I think we should... all right, we're going to Gum Gum Giant Gavel. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it in a better... I could have just gave him a Love Beam, I guess, and not drawn from it. But I'd rather trash the cards and get my hand size down, because now I'm going to get to draw 2 more cards off of Love Beams and trash 2 cards off of the Gum Gum Giant Gavel. So we're about to go through 4 cards here. So right here, we're going to take this first hit, make him, I guess, commit more. Okay, we'll go ahead and hit it with a Love Beam here, I think. Yep. We get the Kaya. He has 7 Dawn left, by the way, guys. I do remember this turn here. I go ahead and use that. So I used a Gum Gum Giant Gavel. Pause. I went double Gum Gum Giant Gavel there. Or no, double Love Love Beam, Love Love Mellow, Love Love Beam, whatever it's called, into a White Snake. And then I'm also going to use this Usopp's Rubber Band of Doom because I'm trying to trash as many cards as I can right now. Now watch what happens though. Watch what my opponent does here. That last one was a little bit greedy. I did not expect him to drop this next card right here. Watch this, guys. He drops down a 7-cost Enel. A 7-cost. Okay, we're going to take that hit. Sanji's pull off. Seems good. That was very annoying. I had to give him a Kaya here. I did not expect that card, guys. Otherwise, I would not have gone all out that greedily. We're going to play out the Kaya here to do a draw 2, trash 2. I think we're just going to do it again. Draw 2, trash 2. I think we should get rid of the 2K counter in the Desert Spotted here. I have 5 cards left, and I have lethal in hand, or whatever you want to call that. Right, we'll trash these 2. Seems good. And right here, so I swing for 6. He's got a counter out of that. I forgot to swing with my Nami, guys. I forgot to swing with the Nami. They did just concede, but hear me out, guys. Let me go back to how much I had in my, how many cards I had in deck. So watch this. Let me hit play. There we go. So I have, right here, I have 5 cards in my deck. So I should have gone down to 4 by swinging with Nami, but watch what happens here. Whenever this guy goes to attack, right? Whenever this person goes to attack, I'm going to do a White Snake to draw a card, which will be the Impel Down, or the Impel Down All-Stars. See, that would have cost me, guys. I'm just going to be honest. I basically would have lost the game right there on the spot if my opponent chose to attack in. But again, I was just supposed to swing with the Nami. I forgot to do it. It happens. Okay. All right. And this is the last game here, guys, for the day. We've got a game versus Purple Kaido. This matchup in particular, this is a rough one here where it's like, you know, they can actually burn your life. And I think, I will say this, the person I'm playing against, let me make sure, volume is off, speed is on 2x, yep. I don't think the person I'm playing against really has a large enough amount of knowledge to play against Blue Nami, because I think they make some pretty big mistakes here, guys, and we'll talk about as we get into the game. Swinging for 5 here, I guess swinging for 5 right there did not go punished, right, because I didn't have anything to do. Like, I didn't have any kind of event to counter out with to mill cards. But you'll kind of, I think you guys are going to see what I'm saying as this game goes on. So I'm going to swing in for 6 here, and if I, remember guys, if I hit them, I get to mill the top card of my deck. So here we go. We're coming in for 6. We already did the search with the 1-cost Nami, and yeah, that's where we're at right now. So here we go. 2K counter out there with the Sasaki. I do think that was smart. And we're just going to draw 2 cards here with Sanji's pull off, guys, like nothing ever happened. That's fine with me. Just going to keep on going. I don't mind taking hits early, guys. I really don't. Especially getting through some triggers early could be devastating. Now, it depends who you're going against. If you're going against any blue deck, then you probably want to counter out early to keep your cards in hand very low. All right, so they're going to play out a Who's Who and pop the Nami. Seems good, and they're going to swing in for 6 here, or 5 rather. We're going to take it. We have all 4 Kaias in hand. That's actually kind of silly, and we did draw to a Snake Dance. Very nice. I think we should swing in for 6 here. Again, just always poking their cards down in their hand. They're going to give me a Blast Breath right here, guys. And it looks like they forgot to use their Onigashima last turn. A little bit sloppy play from my opponent, unless I missaw something there. Hang on, we do have to go back and check right now, guys. Hang on 1 second. Okay, yeah, so here, yeah, they forgot to use their Onigashima last turn. That's a little bit sloppy play on my opponent's part. But hey, it happens, guys. Just trying to show off what the deck can potentially do here. And I actually think that Kaido can beat Nami if played correctly here. Now, this version of Kaido, maybe this is like a starter deck, like a straight-up starter deck version of Kaido. And I don't know if this version can necessarily beat Nami. But at the same time, who knows? They're going to swing in for 5. That is like a very big problem there, guys. Swinging for a base number against Nami, just like if I'm at 5,000 power and you swing for 5 into me, I can White Snake to get out of it and draw a card. So bare minimum swing for 1K over whatever my leader is. But honestly though, I would never swing for less than 2 over my leader unless I had no other choice. That's how I would play into Nami. So again, I don't know if this guy has the best knowledge. He just swung 5 into 6. I don't think he realizes how White Snake works. We're going to go ahead and play out a Kaya here to draw 2, trash 2. Probably getting rid of Love Beam, or Love Beam. We're going to swing 6 in here. What's the last card? Okay. Now, he did get lucky there. We probably should have played out another Kaya there before we swung, or before we swung in, because we did mill a Sanji's Pilaf. That was very, very unfortunate. They're gonna so right here, they're gonna swing for 7. That's not a bad attack. I'm gonna white snake now and get out of it with a 2K counter. And now they swing at a 5. Again, guys, it's like this might be a new player, so let's not be too mean. No problem, right? Hey, everybody's got to learn, right? Everybody's got to learn, hey, including me. I have to learn how to play Nami, right? This is not my main deck. For those who might be wondering, I have not been doing a good job of setting my cards when doing my searches and things like that. Sometimes I'm just throwing them on the bottom of the deck in any order. So let's not be too critical of our opponent here, guys. They are still trying to learn as well, just like we are. Okay, so we're going to play out the Kaya. We're going to play out the Boodle, and we're in a pretty good position here. You really have to put Nami on a clock, or they're eventually just going to mill themselves out, right? They're going to play out a Who's Who, and they're going to go ahead and pop one of my characters here. They pop the Boodle. We can still trash a card with the effect because it's just on KO. It's not on block. And let's see what they decide to do here. It looks like they're going to load up and swing for 8. Yeah, they're going to swing in for 8. Not a great number. We're going to Snake Dance to get out of that very efficiently. Hey, guys, with Snake Dance, hear me out, guys. When it comes to Snake Dance, click your target first that you want to buff. Don't click the target you're trying to pull back to hand. Click the target you want to buff first with Snake Dance on the sim, and then pull back the card you want to, you know, from your character, from your board. Otherwise, you'll get very annoyed if you were trying to save your leader or something. They'll swing in for 11. We'll take that. We get a Sanji's Pilaf trigger. You love to see it, at least if you're me. And I'm swinging in for 6 here. Let's see if we can get an. Okay, we get to mill a card from the top of our deck, and here we go. Right here, we're just going to, I think we're just going to pass the turn to our opponent. We still have 19 cards to get through. Oh, excuse me. They were still resolving a trigger. Excuse me. They were still resolving their trigger there. Now we're going to play out the Kaya. We're going to Sanji's Pilaf, I think. And there's the Nojiko, the card I was going to show off in this game, but we actually don't really get to show it off here. I guess we technically could have used Nojiko here to bounce back the Queen. But at this point in the game, I was starting to feel like, okay, let's not be too crazy against our opponent here because they're obviously, you know, they're probably a newer player, right? That's okay. It's okay. So they're going to swing in for 6. We're going to use our, was our 3rd or 4th white snake. We're going to buff up for the turn there, and we're just going to keep getting out of these guys. Little tiny 1-cost 2K counters to get out of these. 8 into 6. Now that's a good attack. I have to use a Gum Giant Gavel here if I want to get out of this. I might also use Desert Spada just to set my top or bottom cards. We'll put those on the bottom, and then we're going to use a Nojiko to get out of it. And there we go, guys. They're going to swing in for 8. We'll take this one. We get a 1K counter, and here we go. They're going to Dawn -7 with their leader effect and drop me down to 1 life. We're going to swing for 6. If this goes through, we're going to mill a card. All right, we're going to play out the Kaya. We're going to trash those 2, play out the Kaya, trash whatever that is, and we are down to, and then play out the Boodle, I think. Yeah, I think we should play out the Boodle here. Oh, well. I guess we didn't have to. Oh, we had, so hear me out. We had 6 cards in hand. We have 3 of which are Gum Giant Gavels, and that should be able to get me out of whatever I need to there, especially with using the Love Beam as well. So here we go, guys. Let's see what happens here. They're going to swing out. I think we're just going to go all in and just in the game right here, guys. You can over-counter, guys. Understand that you can over-counter. So we take the last hit to make this look very close. Very good game. We're going to go +4, trashing 2. We're going to use another one to go +4. Then we're going to use Love Beam to draw a card. Gum Giant Gavel. That's going to get the last 2. GG to my opponent. We got up to +16 there. And we did still have a Snake Dance if we needed to, but we were just going all out there to get out of that attack and just to finish the game. Good game to my opponent there. So that was a fun one. That was a fun game. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the final list we were using there, guys, because I did make some slight adjustments at the end that I think might be going in the right direction for the direction I think that Nami could potentially go going forward. At least if I continue to mess around with it. So this was the version we saw at the end. I basically replaced the Dawes Bones that I was playing for a little bit there with Nojikos. I went up the Snake Dance for, I don't know what. I can't even remember. Let me see, guys. Oh, excuse me. I know. For the Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. So I think what I ended up having. Oh, so here we go. I know what I did. I took out 2 Deathwinks. I took out 4 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. 2 of those eventually became Dawes Bones in the last game. And then it became, I think, 4 Snake Dances or something like that, or maybe it was 3 and 3. But now I turned those 6 cards into 3 Nojikos and 3 Snake Dances. Now, going forward, I think there is some idea to run Nojiko here as a 4 of, and maybe going up a Slave Arrow. this card right here, so we can bounce back the Nojikos. And then at that point, we probably could also even go up Marguerite, because that can allow us to do a lot of tricks with that, right? We can pull back this card, potentially replay it next turn to get out of a massive attack. So let me understand how that, or let me explain how that works, guys. Let me just add this card to the deck for now so we can talk about it, and then Slave Arrow. So hear me out, guys. Slave Arrow says you may return one of your cost 2 or higher characters to the owner's hand, and then give up to one of your leader or character cards plus 4,000 power during this battle. So say your opponent swings in for like 20k, okay? Let's say your opponent swings in for 20,000 damage. Well, you can just block with Margaret, and then during the counter step, use your Slave Arrow to pull back the cost 2 or higher character. We can make it be the blocker, and then that attack just fizzles. It's gone, and we got out of it for 1 Dawn, and we got our blocker back to play next turn, and then we can, you know, draw another card with it, right? So it is like one little trick you'll be able to do. This is a 7 Warlords Kuja Pirates type of event. There might be something to mess around with there, because then we might go snake, you know, at that point, maybe, and remember, this is Amazon Lily. And let me see one more thing, guys. What's her name? Grandma. Let me see. It's like a 1-cost card. I can't remember her name. It's like the old grandma card from Amazon Lily. Why can't I remember her name? I'm probably just looking right over it. Here it is. Gloriosa. So this can search up Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates type cards. So unfortunately, we can't grab like the Nojikos or the Kayas or this Boodle. We can't grab any of the stuff we want there. But if we do make some slight adjustments to this list, guys, now this is a Kuja Pirates card with a Love Beam. So there might be a world where we go up, you know, Margaret's, Slave Arrows, Snake Dance, and Love Beam. There might be a world where we mess around with that. And let's see what all the Kuja Pirate support is we can grab at that point. At that point, I don't think we need Perfume Femur. I don't think we need that. I mean, there's some ideas, I guess. I don't think we want to run some of this stuff, though, to be honest, guys. Let me check the Amazon stuff. Yeah, we'll have to see, guys. We're going to have to see about that. It's an idea. This is a 2K counter. Aphilandra. Activate main. You may return this character to the owner's hand. If your leader has the Amazon Lily type, place up to 1 character with the cost of 1 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Yeah, I don't think we need that. And I don't think we need Shakiyaku either, which is when your turn once per turn, when a character leaves play from one of your effects, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in hand, they place 1 card from their hand on the bottom of their deck and then rest this character. I don't think we need to do all that. But I will say this, if we do decide to mess around with the idea with Slave Arrow here, going up Margaret's, going up Nojikos and things like that, then I think we should potentially add Das Bones back into it, the 1 cost here, because we'll be able to have some very relevant targets to get back to our hand. Rubber Band of Doom is still a very good target to snag back to hand. Desert Spada, this is a 7 Warlords. I wonder, we're starting to see a few 7 Warlords targets. We'll have to look at that as well. That's a whole nother possibility. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Das Bones can get back the Rubber Band of Doom. That's a very solid target. Desert Spada, Slave Arrow, or Gum Giant Gavel. I mean, you can get back Impel Down All-Stars, but remember, guys, you can't use the Activate main. This is mainly used for the trigger effect and just to trash with cards like Gum Giant Gavel to use their effect. So again, this is just like the 1-cost Nami we're using, guys. This Nami here. This can bring back 1 blue event card, but it has to be a cost of 1 from your trash. Not 1 or less, not 1 or more, 1 exactly. So we can only get back cards that cost 1, and if we could find a way to work this out, it might be worth messing around with for like I said, for like, you know, running Margaret's and Nojikos to just bounce cards back and drop down blockers, and then use the Slave Arrow, the Slave Arrow to grab cards back to our hand. So yeah, might be something there, guys. We might have to mess around with that. Because I also wonder, too, there is a stage we can mess with, I believe. Let me see something. Did they lock this? No, but we don't want to use this anyway. Never mind. So scratch the idea on this, guys. I wanted to check this one. Or was I thinking of this one? You may place this card and 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck in any order. Draw 2 cards. Maybe Logtown becomes an idea for something to mess with, but I don't know if we have enough room in the deck currently. But yeah, that's about it, guys. That's about all I have. So again, what I want to do going forward, if I decide to mess with this deck list again, I was a big fan. Let me say this right now. I do like the Nojikos, especially going into OP10, being able to bounce back all the 5-cost targets from like Green Yellow Law, Red Green Smoker, anything running blue for the most part, any of the 7 Warlords type stuff. This can bounce a lot of stuff out of the way. And then if we do run cards like Slave Arrow and we run cards like Snake Dance, well, that's really good for us, right? That's really, really good for us. We can probably do a lot of shenanigans with that. And it slows down our opponent, guys. Slowing down your opponent in the early game becomes very powerful then. And then who knows, at that point, maybe we do find a way. Because I do, let me say this, guys. I do think Snake Dance, while it's an incredible card, I think it gets a little bit hindered going forward. Because I don't think there's going to be many 5K bodies on the board anymore for us to, to just get to 6K so we get out of those easier. I mean, don't get me wrong. Whenever they swing for 9, we can always use White Snake to get to 6, and then start getting out of 9K attacks with single cards. This card is extremely good. I'm not saying it's bad, but again, we'll just have to see what happens, guys. There's at least something to be said. Oh, one more thing we got to check. Let me check the trigger. Draw 2 and place 2 on the bottom of your deck. Not great, but it does allow us to set the bottom cards of our deck, and it does also allow us to like fix our hand a little bit. And Snake Dance does have a decent trigger. Return one of your characters to the owner's hand and bounce back a 5 or less, so I absolutely love this. I love having the Snake Dance in here, just period. This will probably eventually go up to a 4 of, especially if, like I said, if I want to go up the Margarets and the Nojikos. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Now I'm done. Tell me what y'all thought in the comment section below. Nami, very divisive leader here, very polarizing, like I've said before. But hey, it's a very fun leader to play. And it's not exactly just auto win, guys. I'm telling you right now, try playing against an aggressive rush list or something that just goes wide very quickly. It is not an auto win. I promise you that, guys. And even against good Blackbeard players, they will just go super tall and save one 10-cost Blackbeard. Like they might go like double Blackbeard, or maybe even just one Blackbeard, triple Burgess, just fill out the board and fill up their trash. And then on the turn, they're ready to go for lethal when you're down to 1 card left in your deck, or 1 card left in your life, or 0 cards left in your life. You know what they'll do? They'll drop down to 10 cost Blackbeard and go, okay, swing 5, 9, 9, 9, 9, 12 or something. You know what I mean? Whatever it ends up being. It ends up being crazy, and you can't actually take the hit. You'll just lose the game. Okay? All right, that's it. We're done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys. All the VV Pirates Playmat supporters over here. Guys, if you're just liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, that's enough support already, so thank you so much. But big shout out to all the people who support me by people who got the playmat. Hope you guys are enjoying that. And then for the members, of course, on YouTube, this is the new thing we're doing, guys, with the stream. Big shout out to everybody on here who supports me by becoming a YouTube member. And then last but not least, guys, with the patrons, people who are just trying to support me, donating to the cause, donating to me just to keep the dream alive, keep everything going. All right, guys. I think that's it. Oh, I did forget to mention one card, Murder at the Steam Bath. Hang on. Got a quick little bonus content at the very end. There's one more event that I wanted to show you guys. I do think it's at least worth mentioning, and it is called Murder at the Steam Bath. I think it's a 2-cost card. Let me just type in Steam because I don't see it. There it is. Okay. This is another card. It's from Buggy Pirates. It's a 2-cost trigger draw card event. Give up to one of your leader or characters plus 3,000 power for this battle, and then trash up to 2 cards from your hand, then trash the same number of cards from the top of your deck. This is a very versatile, useful card in Nami. I almost forgot to mention it, so I did at least want to mention it at the very end here. All right, now I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, guys. Peace.